In this video, I'm going to show you a quick Zoom recording I had with my partner Mark, who is a software developer, but I'm showing him an app that I built using Claude. Now, Claude is one of the AI tools, it's a competitor to ChatGPT, and it has a mode called Artifacts, and Artifacts allows you to tell it what you want, and it builds an app, so to speak, and then allows you to publish the app so people outside of your system can use the app and use all the functions of it. So you're gonna watch me show you Mark what I built. He's gonna give me even some suggestions. I'm gonna go back and add those suggestions, and then I'm also gonna go back and show you what the final version of the app with those changes are. And I'm gonna put down in the description a link so you can click on that and you can try the app for yourself. The purpose of this app is to grab a big PDF file with a bunch of attachments and split it in a very logical way, particularly useful for me as a tax professional, as an accountant. So let's get to it.
There we go.
Okay, so here's the app that I built through Claude Artifact. We went through 18 revisions of that.
It's not that bad.
I'm gonna copy it and then I'm gonna open it up in a incognito window. And the reason why I want to show that is because it's not tied to my computer or anything like that. One thing that will happen is it's going to ask you to log into Claude once it starts using some sort of computing power. I'm just showing you that it works. Then the document that I'm using as an example is a document where I scanned a bunch of things. Some of it are bills. Some of them are, some offer for some warranty for a car, some insurance thing, some bank statements. Then if I scroll down, we're going to see some 1099, some K1. So I'm just kind of like the typical example where a customer will scan a bunch of documents, send them to me, and it's one big file that's a pain in the butt to like sort through and split up. So I'm going to click and drag that in here. And what it will do is I will read all the pages. It will analyze them. Okay. And again, I have to be logged in once you use a significant amount of power. So I'm just going to go into my logged in Claude here, okay, which I could also do, on the same browser page, but I had showed you earlier in incognito window so you can see it. But we click and drag the document, okay, it goes through the reading phase. It's going to try to figure out what each document is. So it is using Claude AI to do this. So if you got really big files, you have to have a Claude subscription, right? Because it's going to use some Claude computing power.
Yeah.
Until you make this a commercial app, and then we pay for the Claude API or whatever it is, that's a different conversation altogether. So we'll just let this finish analyzing.
PDFs are notoriously kind of difficult for computer language anyway, so it makes sense it takes a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Any app is going to take some time to process. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how the UI previews things and grays them out and lights them up as it's going through. That's kind of nifty.
Yeah, it's pretty. And I didn't ask you to do that. It did that on its own.
Yeah, interesting.
One thing I do want to point out is that all these pages have different sizes and formats.
Yeah.
See that? And the other thing to point out is some of these things are like irrelevant. Like this thing is just like the back of it's the back of a thing. It's like no numbers here, no financial numbers.
Yeah.
Here's $1, some credit, some credit offer, right? Here's like the back of just like an address and a disclaimer. So there's a lot of that, and that's normal, right? Like our clients send us all that type of junk, and I have it programmed so it can filter out anything that does not seem tax related. So that's the logic I created is this tax related? And if it's not tax related, separate all these pages out, and it'll extract them and cut them off in a different folder.
I mean, if you put it out as like a thing for people to use and they just have to use their own Claude subscription to do it.
Yeah, for the time being, to beta test it. But this is, I think this year, Accounting Pro Tools, it's about like spitting out a bunch of these things, like just like all these, all these ideas, right? And then just get people to like tell us, okay, this will work, this will work. Okay, so I have it's 44 pages. There's relevant. So it basically only 25 are relevant. And then there's irrelevant. So all the things are not tax, like the back of the pages, not tax related, don't contain any action that's related to tax. If one of them is tax related, I could just click on that and then I can uncheck irrelevant, and then it goes into my relevant bucket. So it's just basically relevant and irrelevant. So I say this one's not relevant. I'll click on that and then uncheck relevant, and then it makes it go away. I can click on this one, uncheck relevant, and it makes it go away. So I get to choose what's relevant and irrelevant for tax purposes. So I can do that. So that's the first kind of pass, is just to make sure that I grab anything. Let me see, only the relevant ones. Anything that seems irrelevant, and just make it irrelevant. Okay. So once I go through that, then it gives me a preview of every single one. So it creates a category. It literally creates a category for them, and it reads it in the, basically it makes a category based on all the documents, and it creates a list of category. It reads the tax year. It reads who's the issuing entity and who's the receiving entity. Okay. And then basically it's all kind of broken down for me here. I can click on CSV index, whether I want to have like a database of everything that was included. Under settings, I could choose the order of how I want to name it. So if I wanted to do tax year first, and then secondly, doc type, then issuer, and then lastly, receiver, we can do it that. I could pre-pen or append anything I want to. So I can say extracted or something like that. And then I can say by Hector, something like that. So I can basically choose exactly how the document is going to be named when I do the export. So then the export is going to be this thing called generate zip. Okay, it packages together a zip file. I go to download zip file. I'm just going to open the zip file to show you what that looks like. And then it creates, look at this beautiful thing. Let me just actually double click on it. It creates folders for each of the entities that it belongs to. And then once you open each one, it creates tax year groupings. And then inside of it, it has this very specific name convention for every single one of them. Is that cool?
Yeah,
Or
that's interesting.
is that cool or what? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and again, if everything is to your name or to one corporation, it won't split the map. In the same zip file, you get the original scan, so the original document, and then you also get this CSV file right here, which is basically like a index. So here's all the file names, and here's the data on each one.
Cool. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
And it tells you which original page number in the PDF it belongs to.
That's
So
nifty.
what would you change or add in here, or you feel this is pretty complete?
So there's two things that I would think about. The first thing is more of a functional thing, and the second thing is more of a just like way down the road kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing is, I wonder if there's a way to put in what's the word I'm looking for here? A thing that's like, oh yeah, if these two names look similar enough, like combine them into being one name. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you had like advanced webinars or something like that, LLC, I think. Don't 100% quote me. But then you had some other things that said advanced webinar or sometimes it would say, oh, quick bookkeeping and accounting. That's the one I was looking for.
So these two.
So yeah, so it'd be like and the other one would be and in a different way, and the other one didn't have quick bookkeeping at all, or the and accounting part at all. So maybe
Like a
having like a
smart
toggle
grouping,
somewhere.
like a smart grouping.
Yeah, or I would even say like maybe it is smart grouping is just the way to put it, or have like a toggle that's like here's how like depending on your confidence level, you can be like group things together, like you'd be 100% sure on one end of the spectrum, and then like 50% sure on the other end, and then it'll just like be like, okay, if I'm reasonably confident, I'll move these two things to be in the same grouping.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then the second thing, now this is the more like way down the road part,
Yeah.
which is having some kind of system to like automatically go out and fetch the documents and then split it up for you or something like that.
But
Now,
fetch them from where? Because this is a PDF that my client emailed me, for example.
yeah, I do. I get what you're saying. But I mean, the fact that it can kind of like put things into different buckets, I don't know enough about the process of getting PDFs from like different, let's say banks or, the IRS or anything like that. I don't know enough about it to know how much of a crazy mess that gets to be. But at least with the bank side of things, I could imagine there being enough of a crazy mess that if you could just get all of the like information and then kind of split it up automatically, that'd be cool. But to be fair,
Yeah.
things like HubDoc have tried to do like bank fetching and all that
Right.
stuff, and
Right.
it's been annoying and terrible for as long as accounting has been around. So I don't know how hard it would be to get all that done.
Okay. I will at least I'll take into consideration merging two documents. So like for example, page 16 and page 17, let's say they're related to each other. So a way to merge those two, like just like page merging. And then a different place where maybe gives me a list of all the extracted entity names, which eventually will be the folders, and
Yeah.
and like a merging tool for that. So it suggests something, and then also gives you the ability to change it, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. And then the one final thing is I know you have the thing where you can check relevant or irrelevant on the screen right here.
Yep.
Remove, or sorry, on the right side, my bad. When you're like looking at the individual documents. I know relevant, if you click that, it'll move it over to irrelevant and all
Correct.
that. If
Right.
you click remove, what does that do? Does it just like make it so it's just no longer even in consideration
Yeah.
anywhere?
It won't. Yeah. It won't. Like it just junks it out.
Okay,
So like
gotcha.
say for example, I got a bunch of irrelevant files here. Let's say all these are irrelevant. Okay. So I'll just remove it. So
Okay,
that way I'm doing nothing with it. It's just like a delete.
okay, gotcha,
But like for example, this one's relevant. Okay. So I gotta switch this to relevant. And then the rest of them I could just remove.
gotcha.
Okay. I should probably do a remove all button as well. That I could
I
do
mean,
for irrelevant.
I don't know if it's super important to have a remove all button. I mean, it could be helpful, but if you're worried about having like space on the screen or anything like that, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, this
Um,
is at 200%. So this is 100%. So there's plenty of space here.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna implement all those things,
yeah.
and I'll
Well,
post a
again, you
video.
don't
I'll post
not
a
the pulling
video.
stuff.
Yeah, I'll post a video on my channel to kind of get comments to see what people think about it, where the ideas are, and then at some point in the next couple months, we'll figure out how to make this like a real app that's available to the public. I'll give people the Claude link so they can play with it, but at some point we have to make this like a real app. I think it would be pretty useful.
Yeah,
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
yeah. I appreciate it, Hector. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And yeah, it was a fun call looking at the
Likewise.
stuff you've been making. I know you're happy to be making stuff.
Yeah, I am very much. Now I'm gonna go back for a second and kind of show you how the sausage is made a little bit. So I went to Claude.ai, okay, Claude.ai, and then kind of looks like this. And I do have a paid version of Claude. There is a free edition, but I have a paid version of Claude. And instead of going to new chat, I'm gonna go into artifacts. So when you go into artifacts, it gives you some templates, so to speak, for you to start creating some apps. Now you can click on any of these and kind of get started, or you can go new artifact and you can tell it kind of what your starting point is. And then from there, you start telling it what you want. I'm actually going to go back and open up the artifact that contains a history of everything that I did. So I just want to give you a walkthrough of what it took to build this. Okay. And it took about maybe 2 to 3 hours in total to kind of go back and forth. We did 19 revisions in total. Here's a drop down menu. You can see I can go back to any of the revisions I had in the past. And then if you click on this little button here, you can see the actual code, like how this was built. But the preview button, the eye, kind of shows you what the app is going to look like. And here where it says publish, I click on that. Then I'll click on this link, and that's the link I'm going to put in the description, because then when you click on that link, it will take you to this page, which is the Claude page, where you can click and drag your own document and kind of test it out from there. Now, keep in mind, you do have to have a login to Claude. I think you could do a lot with the free version, but if you're using way too much compute, you might have to have a paid version of Claude. I'm not 100% sure, but bottom line is this URL, I will put it in the description so you can test this on your own and go into the comments and tell me, did it work? Did it not work? Do you have any suggestions to how to make this app better? Because we do want to make this into a real commercial app. For now, it's just a prototype, but it is a functional prototype. So anyway, I want to go back into the process here. So I kind of want to walk you through that. I'm going to just push this to the side. So when it first asked me what kind of app you want, I clicked on start from scratch. So my prompt was right here. I want an app I can drag and drop in PDF into, and it will split and organize a PDF in different folders into a zip file. Okay, and then it says, okay, here's my plan for a tax PDF splitter and organizer, and it went through the process of like sort of thinking through the concept. So it went through the whole concept. It asked me, look, it's not going to have OCR, and I said, yeah, no, it does need OCR. So then it goes back and goes, okay, I'll update this to make sure that there's some OCR. OCR means optical character recognition, means it converts the PDF image into text. So then it goes into all these kind of like thought processes of how the app is going to go. And then at the very end, I could just say, sure, I like it. Let's do it. Right? Or I could have read it and give it more corrections or whatever. So this is a substantial app. Let me build it in pieces. And then it starts. Boom. So it starts with this is like version 1. Okay. Then it tells you, here's our doc processor app. Here's what it does. Here's everything that it does. And then I tested it. I ran into maybe some challenges. And when I clicked on preview, the document editor needs to go to one of the connected to the page. Also, when I clicked on generate zip, I got some sort of error. So it says, okay, sorry about that. I'll go fix it. There's version 2. Then I tell it, okay, I got this other error. Okay, and then it goes, okay, let me go back and check. And there's a lot of like error back and forth. Then it gave me some error about content being blocked. And then it says, you know what? I do got to change the approach to this. So it goes and changes the approach. And then I give it more context, and then it changes that. And then I go back and I give it more context or more things that I want. I want to be able to append or prepend a file name. And I want a button that allows me to make individual files relevant or irrelevant. So I just all these ideas, I was kind of thinking through them as I tested. So I went through, it's like, again, 4 hours, 5 hours worth of testing back and forth. And it goes through all the revisions. Sometimes they'll do a bunch of revisions in one shot because they'll like update one feature at a time. So I actually didn't go back and did 19 prompts. Like some of it just kind of flew through a bunch of revisions. Then I asked for more stuff, right? I need page merging, the ability to grab 2 or more pages and making them into the same PDF. A remove all button. And this is like some of the suggestions that Mark was giving me. An option to merge entity or group, and a third filter for all the ones that I remove. And then I asked it, does it make sense? And then it goes, it makes total sense, but here's a couple clarifying questions. So it like asked me a couple of questions. You want this, you want this, you want that, and I answered all that. And then it goes, yep, got it. Big feature. We'll go ahead and do it. Revision 19. Here's everything that I did. So I kind of walking you through like the 4 hours that it took me to do all this, including that call with Mark between version 18 to version 19. It's always useful to go to a colleague and say, what do you think? So now I got this is version 19 of the app. This has all the changes. So I'm going to show you a couple of new things that we added from the call with Mark. So for example, if I got a couple of pages that should be together, I hold the shift button in the keyboard and I go 1, 2, 3, and I basically picked 3 documents that I all want them to be one big PDF. So I'll click here, merge pages, and it merges it all into one document. Okay, so that was sort of the new feature. Then we have our relevant filter, we have our irrelevant filter, and if I want to grab any of the things that are marked as irrelevant and kind of send them back to relevant, I can just click on one of these, click on this, send them to irrelevant. The other thing I can do is I can make everything that's here under irrelevant and click on the shift key, go through all of them, and then just remove all these things right here. Okay, so I can click on remove or click on this button that says remove all irrelevant, and I can get rid of all irrelevant things all in one shot, and then it moves that into a new grouping called removed. So I kind of have them into relevant, irrelevant, and removed. And by relevant, I mean tax relevant, right? And that's all coded into the instructions that I gave it. So I could always bring back any of the stuff that was removed by clicking on restore. So that's kind of the concept, right? So I got my relevant stuff, my irrelevant stuff, my removed stuff. So back to my relevant stuff, okay? So now in here, we just clear this. Then I can click on any of these and I can make any of the changes here. But we had a situation where some of these receiving entities were getting duplicated. Like that's something that Mark noticed during the call. So I have this setting here called merge entities. So when I click on merge entities, there's a couple that are redundant. Like for example, this alt accountant with a space and without a space. These two probably should be together, and this third one as well. So these three should somehow be the same entity and not create separate folders. Same thing here. We have quick bookkeeping and accounting, quick bookkeeping and accounting LLC, ampersand versus and. So the idea is that I can click on these. I'm testing this for the first time, so I don't know how these mergers would go. Not sure exactly how the merger goes right now. Maybe I'll click on smart grouping and see what happens there. So this will use AI to try to kind of like figure out how this grouping goes. So this is telling me, look, I think that I should have lowercase advanced webinars, uppercase advanced webinars be merged. So I'm going to click accept. And then I should have these three, alt accountant, alt space accountant, alt accountant, DBA, accept. And then we have all these quick bookkeepings, okay, and accept. So thank you, shout out to Mark for suggesting a smart grouping. So by doing this, I'm just going to have a much cleaner export. So I'm going to click on apply three merges, and then I'll go back to merge entity, see if my entities are clean now. Yeah, so my entities are clean now. And if I want to merge something else, I assume I do something like select one, then another, and then click here on merge. Oh, great. So let's say I grab this one, and this one, and we're going to do Hector Garcia personal. Okay. So basically everything that's in these three groups, not specified Hector Garcia and ramp, these three will actually just go into that grouping. So I click on merge. So that's kind of the smart merging that we're doing. Then click on apply merge. And then at the end, I'm just going to click on generate zip. And we're going to download that zip file and kind of preview what it looks like when it exports into my computer. So let me bring this over here. And now, yeah, so it did make that correction where here in the Hector Garcia personal, it merged everything together. And then here in alt accountant, it has everything merged together. So it's no longer those separated alt accountant, alt space accountant, alt accountant, DBA something, quick bookkeeping and accounting. Again, everything is nice and neat here by tax year. So I am super excited about this app. Like I said, I want to make this a commercial app. Honestly, this type of feature should be built into practice management software. So if you use TaxDome, or if you use Carbon or Keeper, or whatever app you use where you intake software, the app should be smart enough to already be doing all this. And look, someone from any of those apps might watch this video and go, duh, no brainer, build into it, and then no longer have a business, a viable business here. But to the extent that maybe some accountants don't use practice management software, or maybe they don't do it right, this is, I think, is a really interesting proposal. So what I want you to do is I want you to test it. Grab one big PDF that has a bunch of documents in it, put it in there, and kind of see how it groups it, export it, see if that's helpful, and then go down in the comments and tell me, was it useful? What would you change on it? Feature suggestions, and then we'll see if we can build this into a real thing. So I'm just super excited about this, super excited to share with you guys, and I'll check out your comments below.